the killings of a top Yoruba leader's daughter around the Ondo area.
This is Funke Olakari.
Olakari. And while this happened, there was a rallying point by the Southwest governors. And they said, oh, we're going to do something about it. This was around October last year. And they started this operation. Now it looks like it is set to start. I mean, the dates are varying now. They're saying 9th of January. Some people were saying 7th before. But they've been able to get the buy-in of other people into it. They said the military is going to come in, police is going to come in. But there's a caveat to it. The Oodua People's Congress leader, while all of this conversation was going on, said if they are ready, they should also talk to Oodua People's Congress about it and the Agbekoyas. Does that put in another dynamic in this Operation Amotekun, which is a Yoruba word for the leopard?
Well, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
We are in a new year. Thank God we made it to 2020. Let me say this, that this discussion is going to be very diverse. We're going to be giving some people some perks and we're going to be flogging same people.
Okay.
So we are not expected, this an analysis will actually be dissecting a lot. Now, let's look at your opening question because I don't want to ignore it. The Oodua people's comments and concerns. Are they the only one that has comments and concerns? We captured it because it was made. Okay, you forgot that there's the Bakassi boys. You forgot that there are other bodies in security. The Nigerian Legion is there in security. There are private security companies also. Then we have the OPC having factions too. So it's not only one spokesperson for the OPC. Then we also have communities having their own local vigilantes right now, especially in all those western states that we have mentioned, who don't have uniforms, they don't have any policy, they don't have control. They are just there, they are the kings of their own place. Then we have the National Union of Road Transport Workers, who we have forgotten that they are an army of themselves, because during the political era, we saw them coming out with guns while candidates and these governors now, we are speaking in political rallies. They were shooting. Okay, so we have masses of people gathered together with arms and control in different spaces of these areas that the chief governors want to run this. So there must or should have been a very deep and concerted efforts to collaborate. But there are signs that it failed with these comments that the OPC is making right now. So this failure definitely is bordered on finance. If certain palms has been robbed. Okay, so the insecurity that we talk about, let's look at the problem we want to solve. Okay, because if you get to the hospital, the doctor wants to know, what's wrong with you? He says, an headache. Okay, have you been sleeping right? Have you been taking water? Have you been overworking? So he's looking at what we raised those concerns. What raised our insecurity concerns? It is the godfatherism, the political failures, the wrong ascribing of political control and security to persons that are not supposed to be. You know, these political fightings, infightings between parties and amongst parties have greatly given rise to where persons that are not supposed to be armed are armed, persons that are not supposed to compromise the police begin to compromise the police. But you say, who is that person? They say, it's the boy to so-and-so person. So he can break glasses, he can shoot guns. And that gave this rise. Because after every election, you will now see people that were not settled, and they are armed, and they were thugs for XYZ. They begin to hold spaces, begin to kidnap, to get money. They have to fund their drug taking. They have to fund their free lifestyles. They have to have access to funds. And the person that grew that rank is now in government. He wants to deliver governance. So he's not looking at that area again. So we created this dragon we want to kill. So how did we create it? We had leaders of those groups together. So have we spoken to them? Have we started to decimate their powers, their opportunities to intimidate government security agencies, their opportunities to have access to the executive in Abuja, where somebody needs to call from Abuja and say, what's the problem with that boy? So we, the 6 governors, we need to look at our integrity right now and say, we want to do this. We have put our name to it. So what do we really need to fly as the platform?
We've spoken about slaying the dragon, so let's get into it. Now let's talk about the security architecture of these geopolitical zones. And like you've mentioned, we have personnel like the Vigilantes Group of Nigeria, we have the Odo's Congress, and then we have also People's Congress, and then working with the Nigerian police force as well. Now, what needs to be put in place? Because we know that community policing is something that we still haven't gotten right in Nigeria. So for them to start off Amotekun, there are certain things that need to be put in place. I mean, the governor has come out to say there are going to be operational vehicles, there's going to be a cultural center in Ibadan that is going to give out different commands and make sure that it's operated in these 6 states. As someone that has background in security, what needs to be done to make sure that there's a smooth transition between these different groups?
Okay, thank you very much. You seem to have some training in that aspect too. Also, the way you generated your question. So I think it will help this discussion. Let's go clearly by your questions. Now, hierarchy, training, personnel, funding, discipline, and interaction or correlation, because the governor clearly said we want to support the federal security apparatus. So they are supposed to relate with the DSS, the police, the EFCC, the army, where the military has not been withdrawn. So there are so many places the military are holding ground. So they are supposed to have the language and the comportments to control discussion with all of these agencies. They are supposed, if they want to communicate information or intelligence to the EFCC, to the DSS, to the army, to the police. So that will take us to the personnel. Who are those prepared to run this? We have millions of graduates. If I throw out an advert for my company that I want to employ people, I see graduates coming to take jobs of 40,000 naira and say, okay, I just want to manage it. If these 6 governors will look at personnel, I assure you, the University of Lagos, the University of Ibadan, so many universities right now in Nigeria, Babcock, they are churning out graduates in security and intelligence every year. Every year. Some are doing diploma, some are doing so many other advanced diploma in security. These are one component that you should look at. Another component that you should look at are maybe the ex-service personnel from those states, because your loyalty will now be first to your states. If you are former DSS, former police, military, your loyalty will first be to your states now because you're on pension. You know, then they should look at the locals that are into all of this security, the diatribes of security, like the one we are talking about, the Odua and all of that. They should be inculcated into it. Somebody said the farmers, the hunters, sorry. Now, the hunters, yes, they hunt animals, but they have their time of going out and they have their time of coming in to get results. Now, they have a community too. They should be inculcated in. But I tell you, if you don't put these categories of persons I'm telling you right now, communication will be a problem. Utilizing security apparatus will be a problem. How long do you think it will take you to train a farmer, a hunter, sorry, a fisherman to use body cam and all of this? How long will it take you for them to be able to write a good report? How long do you think it will take you to take a stark illiterate to represent in court as a witness? Don't let us forget the legal penal system. We must take these persons we are getting that are kidnappers, that are bandits, hoodlums. We must take them to court. We can't do jungle justice. So when you take them to court, what evidence would you be presenting that they were arrested with?
Let's talk about preparedness. And you've raised a very good point about Operation Amotekun, which means the leopard. Preparedness. Currently, there are conflicting reports. Some are saying 70 vans. Some are saying they've got 100 vans. Some are saying they've got close to 1,000 vans. I mean, they're saying each state government is giving about 100 vans. The part that is still very iffy to a lot of us is when this conversation started, they had talked to the Army headquarters. What has been the reaction? A lot of people will say they've not had any direct reaction from the Army headquarters as regards this. If the Army headquarters will be working with the police force on this Operation Amotekun, that calls into the question of how do we bring about synergy? And I'll give you an instance. The Wadume case is still on. The Army captain that oversaw the killings of those top police officers, nothing. We've not heard anything about that case till date. Please react to this.
Okay. I'm enjoying the direction this morning. You see, that's why it's good we started with the fact that we are not saying this is right, we are not saying it is wrong. We want to dissect it, okay? So anybody listening should not just say, oh, they are condemning it or they are heralding it. Let's look at the vehicles and the concerns of the existing agencies. Okay, a governor giving 100 vehicles. We don't know the figure we had. Yeah. Okay, so if a governor is giving XYZ vehicles to a command and control center in Ibadan, because the Ibadan Command and Control Center is expected to deploy to necessary areas according to the threat parameters of those areas. Okay, so we can't concentrate on states because it's a geopolitical zone, a region we want to contain.
It's championed by Ekiti State.
Aha. Okay. So now Ekiti State is not where the Command and Control Center is in Oyo State. So who are those? Well, let's leave who are those. Let's not digress from your question. You are looking at those vehicles. You are looking at the military who might have asked for support. You are looking at the police who might have asked for support with their rickety vehicles they already have. We are looking at the civil defense whom have been given authority to take over government critical infrastructures. And some of them exist in some of these states. And the federal government is not showing the right body language to fund them, maybe not up to what they expect they need, because these pipelines that are some of their responsibilities are areas where hoodlums gather, like Ikorodu and all those places. We have seen it. Now, if this concern and these logistics are sent directly to this Amotekun team, what kind of correlation? So I'm expecting your phone call to come, and I'm saying, handle it now. Shebi, you have been funded, you have vehicles and all that. So what agreed terms did they rise up from the table with?
We'll talk about the terms even further, because this is still hazy, and we need to go on a quick break now. We're going to, at the heart of the conversation is going to be the operational insights. And I'm excited you're talking about this after this quick commercial break. Right, we still have Roy Okhidievbie here to discuss and analyze the new initiative by the Southwest governors to take off on the 9th of January. That's Operation Amotekun, which means the leopard in Yoruba language. So we're talking about, operational insights. And the part you wanted to talk about is you talked about the vehicles and some other things. What part you were trying to talk about is the handshake between the military and the police, for instance. And I cited the case of, I think it was Captain Sonny. That case is still on. Nothing has been said. There's still a little bad blood because it was the elite force of the police that was killed to be able to set Wadume free. When you have things like this, what happened peradventure? The police hold somebody, the military says, leave them alone, or the military holds someone, the police says, leave them alone, while Operation Amotekun is going on.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, every agency has their space, whether you like it or not. Every agency is supposed to be aware where each agency is supposed to rub into another's responsibility. And there are responsibilities that are collaborative. Okay, there are responsibilities the EFCC must go into. We need to know that, we need to run with the DSS on this. We need to run with the customs on this. And every agency has an intelligence unit. Like customs should have an intelligence unit that will now rub minds with them. So once this Amotekun is going on right now, from the night as we have a new date, it is wrong not to have this we are talking about in place if they get information about hoodlums, about any avarice activities, you know, people carrying jerry cans of fuel. Some of these things will be economic. You know, maybe there's drug peddling, there's fuel engagement or border incursion with smuggling, and all of that, armed robbery, kidnapping of high-profile persons. We are talking about $1 million, according to our boss, the Advance, taking $1 million. If you want to,
Evans the kidnapper,
if you want, if you want to, okay. So if you want to share that kind of money, you know the influence you have already. So what is the communication? If this group of persons whom we are training now, which is encouraging anyway, and they come where they meet a military checkpoint, they come to where they meet policemen, or they are even operating legally, and they just see 2 police vehicles just coming, armed, or military vehicles just coming. And we are talking of unpoliced areas, so where you will not see a policeman or a soldier will become like a very... So what is the communication? What do you say? Who do you speak to? Who is to be identified? So the military is asking, is this Operation Amotekun? Yeah, okay. They want to see someone because there should be an agreed communication pattern. There should be hyper words to be used to identify certain persons. There should be team leads to be asked for. Where is your XYZ? I'm the one, sir. Can we talk to you? So he comes out and is communicating in the light of the agreements. So that collaboration is quick, fast, and collaborative enough to combat the threat that was assigned, instead of having friction where you hear that the police is against the Amotekun people. There was a fight between the army and these people. So I don't know, but from Ibadan, where we hear that the command and control center is, they should create documented collaboration lines. And these documented lines must be shared across all parties. Like the private security industry now, what we do with the civil defense, there are documents flown out every time to say, don't do this, this is a taboo, it's infringing on your license, your right. So we have all of this information. Once they can do all of that, they will begin to have binding lines to draw. Sir, you know, according to this document, this section, and I don't think that has been released to this, the media. I don't think. No, there are some documents that guide it that should be released. This document will also inform how the civilian space will relate to them. I don't know now if they have the right to search me. I don't know if they have the right to search my phone. I don't know if they have the right to... I don't know their rights. I've not seen it. Maybe it's available because I said we are going to look at the good and the bad of it. So we need to have something to see, something to refer to. If you look at some foreign viral videos, you see a civilian asking the police in the US, in the UK, is it all right to ask me this? Is it? So we don't have all of that, and we want to push these people into the civilian space. So we need all of those. And collaboration will be so sweet because we are expecting this and we welcome it and we are happy about it.
I really hope that this operation has more pros than cons. You've spoken about the hierarchy, training, personnel, and interaction. However, you know, the governor has come out to say, Governor Fayemi has come out to say that one thing that is very important for Operation Amotekun is democratizing intelligence gathering. So it's one thing to have passcodes and to have all of these things, but when push comes to shove and there's something that needs to be attacked there and then, how these different groups can communicate amongst each other. You know, we have the hunters who know the forest terrain, the actual police force and the military that can respond to these 911 calls. Now, what's this process like? How should they address this? And also, let's talk about sustainability, because it's one thing to start and it's one thing to be able to have it run for a long period of time and actually achieve something great.
Well, thank you very much. One of the things we should look at is technology. Okay, if you want the value of the intelligence they refer to you, if you need a good value on intelligence, you must be able to capture it and review it. like a video footage, like an audio recording, like a perimeter system that when you breach a perimeter, an alert shows in their command and control center, like you have good reporting lines that will capture evidence transfer, okay? Then you learn how to seal up a crime scene, because all of these things are going to the court. So if you don't have electronic system input in all of these things you want to do, it's going to fail. You are going to make a lot of noise without any results. Then if we look at sustainability, now, after we got the Lagos neighborhood stuff, we saw all of them on bicycles, we saw the beautiful distance. But I don't know, because I travel a lot. I don't know. I've not seen anyone on bicycle. I've not seen them. I just see them with LASMA at one junction or the other, gradually dying down. So what is the surge? If you start at this level of operationability, are you not supposed to take it to level 2, level 3, level 4? To the extent where you are building capacity for state, because the direction is state policing. So if you want to get that done, you need to be filling the gaps that the police could not have filled. Technology, training, reporting, representation in the court to see that criminals are taken to prison. That is the final lap, except the reformation in prison and bringing them back to the society. So we need all of that, and we need the governors to sign documents that would say, when I leave, this should sustain for the next 15 years. Let's give 15 years. So when I come in as a new governor, I wouldn't say, I don't like this guy's approach on this matter. We suggested this, he started this. Then I'll start to give it a cold response. I will be taken up. Why? Because there are particular activities, responses, actions I'm supposed to take to sustain that body, to deliver to the society who voted me in. It's already existing. But what we will see is another governor will come and it will just begin to die down. He won't say cancel it, but gradually they become incapacitated. You know, so we would want to see a direct line drawn to say we'll grow it and we'll sustain it.
I wanted to ask this quickly as we start to wrap things up. Shouldn't the judiciary have been carried along in this process? Because you need speedy prosecution of this, criminals that would emerge from this. Shouldn't the judiciary be carried along in this system? Shouldn't the prisons and reform facilities at the correctional centers, as they're called now in Nigeria, be carried along in this process? Should we have things like, mobile courts? Shouldn't we have a joint, robust body, robust think tank for this that would involve the judiciary? Shouldn't religious leaders and societal influencers be carried along in this process?
Well, thank God we're closing with this, because we'll be opening too many cans of worms now. It's a good initiative. We are not saying it's bad. Okay. Now, when you take these guys to court, the judge is expecting you to say some things. The judge is expecting to see some things. There are things that we show as culpability and criminality. So where is the interaction lines? Now, who will give the statements? They will take them to police, I'm sure. Even when the army arrests, the navy arrests people, they take them to who? The police. And all this while, my concern was, especially when this Evans case and Wadume's case has just seen Riketi, my concern was, we don't have enough evidence to prosecute. Fine, what evidence do you need? Have you communicated this with the police prosecutors? What are the interaction lines between the police prosecutors and the judiciary? So even when I'm processing a criminal case, I will know that I need this for this thing to fly. This judge will want to hear this, see this, know this, and this man's statement should capture this, then straight to jail. So if we have all of that, then there is a compromise somewhere. That means the prosecutors don't know their job, that means the judiciary gets compromised at certain points not to actually see what the police is presenting to him and asking some questions that will call for adjournment. So if we are looking at the judiciary, we must allow the judiciary to agree with the police and talk with these people and say, once you arrest Roy, don't let him drop his bag. We need his bag. Don't open it because his lawyer will come and say he was searched wrongly without a search warrant. Don't do that. Don't do this. Do this. Don't do this. So once they have that captured in their psyche, immediately they accost a kidnap gang, banditry, hoodlums, unlawful gathering, and all those things that they will come across. They will immediately know what to do. Even when the criminal is going, also no, you can hold that. So we need that collaboration.
I would like to say a very big thank you to you, Roy, for this. Really appreciate you. One thing is so certain of January, and see how the operations continue. And we'll have to review at some point. I'll still have you back. Thank you so much for being here with us.